Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was maintained for centuries by those who came after its founding. You may think that you know all about Rome, but we're going to share some secrets that have been hidden from history. From assassination attempts against emperors to gladiators with unusual origins, there's plenty to uncover about the Roman Empire. In fact, many of these stories have been overshadowed by grand narratives, but they reveal the human side of power and politics in ancient Rome. Understanding these lesser-known aspects helps us see Rome not just as a place of grandeur, but also as a theater of betrayal, ambition, and survival. These tales remind us that even the most powerful empires are made up of real people with real motivations, and that history is often far messier than what textbooks teach us. Did you know that Caligula managed to survive an assassination attempt by his own grandmother? Julia Maesa was the mother of Julia Maesa and grandmother of Caligula. She had always wanted more power for herself, and she felt that her daughter-in-law, Livia, had stolen her rightful place in the imperial family. When Caligula's father, Augustus, passed away, Livia took control and established a dynasty that would last for centuries. However, Julia Maesa never forgot about what she thought was her stolen power. In 39 AD, while Caligula was visiting his grandmother, she invited him over to a home where she had secretly poisoned his food. Fortunately, he became ill and vomited, so he was able to escape death. Later that year, Julia Maesa tried again, and this time she asked a gladiator to attack Caligula with a sword, but the plot failed. Instead, Caligula ended up executing his own grandmother and taking the title of emperor, while Julius Caesar is considered one of the greatest leaders in Roman history. Did you know that he escaped death 3 times before becoming the dictator of Rome? The first attempt was made when he was only 20 years old, but the assassins were unsuccessful because Caesar managed to flee. There was also a second plot against his life during his Gallic Wars, but the conspirators didn't want to kill him. They only wanted to remove him from command and take his power. However, these plans also failed. The third and most famous assassination attempt was made by a group of senators who believed that Caesar had become too powerful and was abusing his authority. Brutus and Cassius were 2 of the conspirators who stabbed Caesar to death near the Senate building. Did you know that Spartacus, one of the most famous gladiators in history, was actually a Roman citizen? Spartacus was born into slavery, but when he was young, he joined a revolt against the Romans led by the Thrace king. After the revolt was crushed, Spartacus was taken to Rome, where he was forced to fight as a gladiator. During his time as a gladiator, he developed a reputation for being brave and skilled in combat, and eventually he became a celebrity in the Roman Empire. But Spartacus never forgot his roots, and when he heard that the gladiator school where he had been trained was mistreating the slaves, he led a rebellion of gladiators against the Romans. Unfortunately, the rebellion was crushed and Spartacus was killed, but his story has lived on in history. Now let's talk about another secret that has been hidden from history. Did you know that Caligula managed to survive an assassination attempt by his own grandmother? Julia Maesa was the mother of Julia Maesa and grandmother of Caligula. Yes, these spectacles were popular entertainment in ancient Rome, but the Colosseum was also used for theatrical performances, executions, reenactments of famous battles, and even naval battles. Imagine watching a naval battle in the middle of Rome. Now the idea might seem strange to us today, but for the Romans it was a source of great entertainment. To create these massive spectacles, the Romans had to develop new technologies and engineering techniques. For example, they created a system of pumps and pipes that could fill the arena with water, allowing them to stage real naval battles in the heart of the city. Moving on to another surprising fact, did you know that many Roman emperors had harems like the Ottoman sultans? This secret has been hidden from history because the Romans were not known for their openness about sexual matters. However, the truth is that many emperors kept harems of both male and female lovers. Nero, for example, was rumored to have had a harem of 500 men and women. And even though there are rumors about Hadrian's preference for younger boys, it doesn't mean that he didn't have a harem of older women as well. In fact, there is evidence that he had several older women in his household. These harems were often hidden from public view, but they sometimes sparked deadly power struggles within the imperial court. Domitian was rumored to have a secret group of male and female lovers, each vying for his favor. These relationships often turned deadly, as rivals used them to manipulate the emperor's decisions. Through secrecy and seduction, emperors blurred the lines between personal pleasures and political power. Caligula, one of the most infamous Roman emperors, was known for his debauchery and pleasure-seeking ways. He hosted feasts inviting 8 men of different types: bald, short or fat, young or old, handsome or ugly. The invitation was non-negotiable, and any refusal would be met with an accusation of being a bad host. It was almost impossible to refuse the emperor, so most senators showed up to the feast dressed as hairy wild men. Caligula also chained women to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him around. He hosted dinner parties where he dressed as a woman and prostituted himself in taverns and brothels. His sexual appetite was insatiable, and he chained women to chariots like horses, whipping them as they pulled him around. He also delighted in throwing gold coins from a tower, enjoying the sight of common folk. Although he was just 4 feet 11 inches tall, he was incredibly strong and could flip a chariot with 2 horses over like a boat. Some people said he got this strength from his mother Julia, who was rumored to have been Hercules reincarnated. Others claimed he inherited it from his father, who was said to have been a giant. Regardless of where he got his strength, one thing is clear: Caligula was a force to be reckoned with. His orgiastic feasts and humiliating pranks on senators show how he used entertainment as a weapon, controlling Rome's elite through shame and fear. Senators were forced to dress as animals or even women, dancing and singing at the emperor's whim. Through these acts, Caligula proved that no one, no matter how noble, could escape his unpredictable wrath. Commodus, the son of Marcus Aurelius, was known for his cruelty and sadistic tendencies. One of his most heinous acts was forcing pregnant women to fight poisonous snakes in the Colosseum, knowing that they would lose and be eaten alive by the reptiles. Another disturbing practice he enjoyed was throwing gold coins from the top of a tower, watching with amusement as commoners fought over the riches. He also hosted feasts, inviting 8 men of different types: bald, short or fat, young or old, handsome or ugly, just like his father. Commodus was just 4 feet 11 inches tall, but was incredibly strong, able to flip a chariot with 2 horses over like a boat. While there are conflicting accounts of his parentage, one thing is clear: Commodus was a monster in human form. Unlike other emperors, Commodus insisted on fighting as a gladiator, undermining the dignity of his office and draining the treasury with his vanity. He demanded to be worshipped as Hercules reborn, wearing lion skins and brandishing a club. These spectacles weakened Rome's economy and shattered the traditional image of the emperor as a dignified statesman. The Roman Empire was a vast and diverse place, and the people who lived there came from all walks of life. Despite this, the Romans had a tendency to stereotype and dehumanize those who were different from them. In particular, they had a habit of labeling entire groups of people as barbarians, which often led to violence and persecution. It's important to remember that these stereotypes were not based on reality, but rather on the prejudices and fears of the Roman people. By understanding the dangers of stereotyping and prejudice, we can work towards a more tolerant and inclusive society. These stereotypes justified brutal conquests and harsh treatment of entire peoples, sowing the seeds of rebellion among those Rome called barbarians. From the Germanic tribes to the Parthians, these so-called barbarians often had rich, sophisticated cultures of their own. Labeling the other as dangerous is a tactic that's been used throughout history, and it's a warning that still matters today. The decline of the Roman Empire has been a subject of much debate among historians, and there's no single event that can be blamed for its demise. However, one theory suggests that the assassination of the Emperor Marcus Aurelius in 180 AD played a significant role in the empire's downfall. Aurelius was known for his intelligence, justice, and ability to keep the empire together. His successor Commodus was his own son, but he was an ineffective ruler who squandered the empire's resources and alienated many of its citizens. According to Edward Gibbon, an 18th century British historian, the vices of Commodus produced a fatal effect. The provinces revolted, the frontiers were invaded, and the authority of the princeps ceased to be acknowledged. As the empire descended into chaos, the assassin who had ended Marcus Aurelius's life was hailed as a hero by some. However, in the end, it was the people who suffered the most as the empire crumbled around them. It's safe to say that life in the Roman Empire was never dull. From the extravagant lifestyle of Caligula to the tyranny of Commodus, the emperors were larger-than-life figures who ruled with an iron fist. However, beneath the surface of their power and wealth, these emperors were often driven by fear and paranoia. Each one of them had their own unique way of maintaining control, whether through brute force, manipulation, or sheer extravagance, and each one of them left a lasting legacy on the empire. So if you've ever wondered what it would be like to live in the Roman Empire, just remember that behind the scenes, it was often a world of intrigue, danger, and deception. We hope you enjoyed learning about the untold secrets of the Roman Empire. If so, please don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe for more videos like these. We'd also love to hear your thoughts on the secrets that surprised you the most. Did you know about them before, or are you just as curious as we are? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.